Here we go.
You are about to experience the Skip Bayless Show, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I'm about to tell you, now I'm actually going to tell my friends Stephen A. Smith and my friend Spike Lee exactly why it's still far more fun to be a Cowboy fan, as bad as they've been for so long, than it is to be a Knicks fan. Seriously, guys? And then I'm going to tell you about Steph and what happened last night. And I'm going to tell you about Luka and what keeps happening to the Lakers. And then I'm going to tell you why I believe that Bill Belichick has gone completely over the edge with his 24-year-old girlfriend. And then I'll tell you why I was a huge Spurs fan for so long, but never a Pop fan. And finally, I'll tell you why a new anonymous quote about Shadur Sanders just confirmed NFL collusion against Shadur, in my opinion. But first up, another LeBron playoff flameout in Los Angeles, mostly uncriticized, followed by another leaked and planted excuse for said flameout. Yep, he and his inner circle just did it again. Rich Paul, you are the all-time greatest at excuse planning with key media members. Never seen anything quite like this. Congrats on this coup that you just pulled off, Rich Paul. I got to tell you, I laughed out loud the other day when I read the ESPN report that LeBron James has a sprained medial collateral ligament that will require 3 to 5 weeks of recovery. I got to tell you, a longtime NBA trainer I know very well immediately texted me soon after this story was posted, and he said to me in the text, "You cannot have a grade 2 MCL sprain and come back in a game. You can't. Even if you're LeBron bleeping James, Iron Man, you just can't. You need crutches to walk on a grade 2 MCL sprain, even if you're LeBron." Now, the play in question, you'll remember, happened with 8:39 remaining in Game 5 out here in Los Angeles. LeBron and Donte DiVincenzo accidentally collided. I just thought it was just, they're neither looking either way, and they collided. And LeBron, who is 5 inches taller than Donte and who outweighs Donte by, 65 or 70 pounds, went down like he'd been shot. Pretty soon, La Flop was trending on X, and I certainly had tweeted that LeBron flopped, so maybe I set the trending tone. But the point was, that collision certainly didn't look like one that injures a knee. I thought for a second that LeBron and Donte bang knees, which could obviously bruise a knee, even worst case scenario, could fracture a kneecap. But in this case, there was no dangerous twisting of LeBron's left knee, no falling against the knee with LeBron's left leg planted. That's when bad stuff happens. Now, if you want a play that could have sprained or torn a knee ligament, look no further than what LeBron did to Anthony Edwards in Game 4. Remember the second quarter? As Ant-Man went after a loose ball, his left leg was planted. And shockingly, at least to me, LeBron went diving for the ball and actually turned his body into that planted left leg belonging to Ant-Man. LeBron didn't try to turn away. He turned into the left leg. And that was just flat out dirty, all-time dirty. And I immediately tweeted precisely that. But I don't know. I guess I was the lone voice in the media wilderness. I didn't hear or see one other media person take issue with LeBron for that obviously dirty, dangerous play. I don't know. I guess at this point in his 22-year career, he's above and beyond even the most painfully obvious criticism. I guess if you fund the I Promise School in Akron, you're off limits from criticism for even a glaringly dangerous play in a basketball game. I don't know. Thank God Ant-Man was okay. I was frankly surprised he was okay. He was lucky, and so was LeBron, that Ant-Man was okay. Did LeBron ever dodge that one? Then in the fourth quarter, game 5, when he and Donte DiVincenzo collided, LeBron went to the bench for a little over a minute before re-entering the game. And frankly, to my eyes, moving around, running, cutting, jumping, like he was 100%. No limp, no sign of a sprained knee that I could see, that anybody could see. But LeBron knew he needed an alibi after game 5, after they got gentlemen swept by the T-Wolves. LeBron knows he's got the highest IQ in basketball, highest this side of Magic's in NBA history. There have just been, speaking of Magic and the Lakers, there have just been too many LeBron-Laker flameouts. As I always have said, the GOAT, quote unquote, always needs a scapegoat. He needs somebody to blame. He needs some excuse. So his billions of blind witnesses out there, those blind witness fans, can run with it, can use it to diffuse the potential for a new onslaught of valid criticism, often ignited by me. Nobody tells the fair and accurate truth about LeBron's performances to me the way I always have. I don't nitpick. I boulder pick. LeBron's playoff flameouts, especially in Los Angeles, are epic fails the size of boulders, Boulders, as in giant rocks. What a brilliant planted excuse this one was. God. Because there's no way to refute sprained MCL. There are obviously no more games to miss, and LeBron has played an NBA record 292 playoff games without missing one because of injury. Not missing one because of injury. Extraordinary. Iron Man. So would LeBron have missed a game 6 if the Lakers had won game 5 as they should have at home? I say absolutely not. He played the last 7.5 minutes of game 5 without the slightest indication his knee was hurt. Not the slightest. Now, please keep this in perspective. LeBron has a history of comical excuse making after these flameouts, these epic fails. It all started May 14th, 2010. The day after LeBron's Cavs had blown a 2-1 lead and lost games 4, 5, and 6 to the Boston Celtics. Next day, I'm at ESPN, sitting on the First Take set, listening to the end of the Mike and Mike show, sort of across the floor from us. And I believe it was my man, Stephen A. Smith, who reported that LeBron, quote unquote, had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6 because of an issue with a teammate. You know the story. I don't need to get into it. And I'm like, what? He had to be sedated? Now, Cavs owner Dan Gilbert did eventually accuse LeBron of quitting in that series. But sedated? Seriously? Preposterous. Then remember game 1, 2014 finals in San Antonio. I was there. That night the air conditioning went out. I don't know what happened. the Heat, speaking of air conditioning, they did lose that game, fell apart in the fourth quarter. And after that game, it was reported that LeBron cramped in the fourth quarter. Really? Nobody else cramped on either team. I don't know. The drama king and his inner circle are the greatest media manipulators in sports history. And then remember what happened the rest of the way. The Heat did win Game 2 in San Antonio, but I guess LeBron was still cramping because he went home and played 2 of the most lifeless NBA Finals games he ever played. Those were 3 and 4. Then they went back to San Antonio and got shot out of the building and closed out in Game 5 and lost that Finals 2014 by a record Finals margin. Okay, now, how about Game 1 of the 2018 Finals? Remember this? LeBron had a late jumper from like 17 feet just beyond the free throw line over little Steph Curry. Down 1, a jumper to win it all. Game 1 on the road at Oracle, and instead, of course, passed to George Hill, who missed the second free throw after Clay fouled him. J.R. Smith did track down the free throw rebound, but lost track of time, lost his mind over time. And LeBron sat away from the team before overtime started, pouted, wouldn't shoot for the first 2.5 minutes of an overtime that the Warriors pulled away and won easily in. Then they swept LeBron and the Cavs, and in walked LeBron for his post-game media session after Game 4, wearing a soft cast on his shooting hand. It was laugh out loud comical. I'm sure Rich Paul helped make sure key media members were apprised that LeBron badly injured his right hand, smashing it against the whiteboard in anger after Game 1. Huh? LeBron told the media after Game 4, and I quote, "I pretty much played the last 3 games with a broken hand." You did? What? It sure didn't look like it. I didn't see any flinching, any grimacing, any sign of a broken hand in games 2, 3, and 4. Excuses. Hey, this time LeBron badly needed his sprained MCL excuse because, not exaggerating, if you look hard at his 6 years with the Lakers, he's only now 28 and 25 in playoff games. 28 and 25 as a Laker. His record in his last 3 Lakers playoff series, the last 3, is now 2 and 12. That's LeBron bleeping James, 2 and 12. Since the bubble, he's now 12 and 20 in postseason games. 12 and 20. LeBron bleeping James. I'm not making any of this up. I'm not embellishing. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not nitpicking. I'm boulder picking. Let's just quickly run back through it just to get you up to speed. I'm sure you've lost track. LeBron's first year with the Lakers, he played 55 games. The team went 37 and 45. That was pre-AD, and that team missed the playoffs. Then came 2020. LeBron got 4 months off, badly needed 4 months off before that playoff bubble started during the pandemic. And he and AD managed to win a Mickey Mouse championship in Orlando, in large part because most teams got sick and tired of being locked in that bubble and just wanted to go home. LeBron smelled an easy chip and pretty much stole the last one he'll ever win. Then remember that first round against Phoenix in 2021. The next year, they're up 2-1, or LeBron's Lakers, Game 4 in LA. LeBron had 6 turnovers and shot 1 of 7 from 3. And the Lakers blew a golden opportunity to go up 3-1 on that Phoenix team. Then they lost Game 5 at Phoenix by 30 points, a game best remembered for, you'll remember this, LeBron heading to the locker room, leaving the bench, heading to the locker room with 5 minutes remaining, presumably because he no longer wanted to associate himself with these Laker losers. Whew. In Game 6, the closeout loss in LA, LeBron shot 11 of 26 from the floor, 3 of 10 from 3. It was just ugly. Before that 2022 season out here in LA, LeBron pushed hard for the Lakers to go get Russell Westbrook. Got to have Russ. The same Russ who wound up that season shooting the worst of any player in the entire NBA from the three-point line and finishing second that season in total turnovers to Trae Young. That Lakers team missed the playoffs. And by the way, when that season began, the Lakers had the second best odds to win the NBA championship. Then came 2023. Series victories over the Grizzlies and the Warriors. And then 4 straight chances in the conference finals to win close games, going to the fourth quarters against the eventual champion Denver Nuggets. And in those 4 fourth quarters, LeBron shot 7 of 23 and 1 of 10 from 3. And in the closeout game out here in LA, LeBron had 2 shots to tie in the final seconds, and neither even hit the rim. Not exactly Kobe-esque. Then 2024, first round against those same Nuggets. Out in Denver, LeBron pouted in the fourth quarter of a winnable game. Wouldn't shoot, presumably because he was still raw from being wrongly blamed for his fourth quarter flameouts the year before. I don't know what's going on. He went drama king. Then game 2, still out in Denver, of course. LeBron wound up with a wide open 3 to go up 3 with 16 seconds left. Wide open. It's like a free throw of a 3-point shot. And of course, he LeBricked it. Kobe would have made it. Jordan would have made it with his left hand. Then came this year. In 5 fourth quarters against Minnesota, LeBron shot a combined 9 of 27. That's 33.3%. And from 3, he shot 4 of 13. That's 30.8%. Just awful by all-time greatest NBA scorer standards. Poor man just wasn't born with a clutch gene. LeBron was minus 40 in those 5 fourth quarters, minus 40. And as you probably remember, over one stretch spanning 25 fourth quarter minutes of games 3, 4, and 5, LeBron James inconceivably didn't score a single point. For 25 straight fourth quarter minutes, he did not score a point. Good Lord, the man was born with only a choke gene. Think about this. Please, just stop for a second. Open your mind. In those 5 fourth quarters, LeBron shot only 4 free throws. That after he shot 14 free throws in the first half of game 4. What? He just went tentative, passive, lifeless. He just kept playing hot potato with the basketball, whipping it around the perimeter. Just tried to stay out of harm's way. LeBron bleeping James. Now, I'll give him this. He did make those 4 fourth quarter free throws in the 5 games. I give him that. This season, LeBron shot a career high 78.2% from the free throw line. Before the season, I dared LeBron to shut me up by finally making 80% from the free throw line. Jordan was a career 84% free throw shooter. So way to go, LeBron. 78.2% during this regular season, which finished 51st in the NBA. 51st. But progress in year 22. So, as I just painfully demonstrated, LeBron has been shockingly unsuccessful as a Los Angeles Laker. So I'm just guessing he knew this was coming from me, that I would open some eyes out there among some blind witnesses with his building failure in LA. And LeBron James has a sprained knee requiring a 3 to 5 week recovery. Great job, Rich Paul. Many, many people out there will actually believe you, though I'm not so sure many of them reside in Laker Nation. Whew. Okay. It's time for my Thunder Nuggets Game 1 parlay picks, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props, and now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. Want to see if a guy's hitting that over consistently, or maybe they've been flirting with a potential triple-double. Get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. Maybe it's going to be you. And once the game starts, that's when things get interesting. You can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So tonight, Nuggets at Thunder for my 3-way parlay. I'm going to go with Joker scoring under 28.5 points. I'm going to go with Chet scoring over 16.5 points. And I'll say Russell Westbrook scores more than 10.5 points, only because I believe Russell will be so overamped, have major impact back where it all started for him in OKC. So I think he'll go something like 3 of 13 from the floor. He will make 1 3, and he'll make 4 of 6 free throws. He'll play hard. He always plays harder than anybody on the floor. It'll be something like that, barely over. I also believe my Thunder will win Game 1. They will win this series, but I don't think they're going to cover in Game 1. I mean, 9.5 points over the Nuggets, who just crushed the Clippers in a Game 7? Man, it's just too many points. Now, if you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit right here, right now, FanDuel.com/skip to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, speaking of the NBA, quick thought on what happened Sunday night in Houston. I was pulling like crazy for Ime Udoka's Houston Rockets. The stage just got too big for him. I was stunned by 2 things: that the Warriors won 103-89. And after the game, the Warriors celebrated, celebrating like they just won Game 7 of another NBA Finals. It felt last hurrah to me, like they sucked it up for one last big Game 7 run. They all credited a big team meeting the evening before in Houston at the team hotel, led by Draymond. They just refused to lose, refused to blow another 3-1 lead as they did in that fateful NBA Finals to LeBron. And yet, as emotional as they were, I couldn't help being amused and sitting back and thinking, so in that meeting, that now historic team meeting the night before Game 7 of the first round at Houston, did they all tell Buddy Hield, we need you to make 9 threes? Because that was the game. If a Buddy Hield is going to make 9 threes in just 11 attempts, the Warriors are going to win Game 7 at Houston. If Buddy Hield is going to make 12 of 15 shots in a Game 7 at Houston and score 33 points, yeah, the Warriors are going to win meeting or no meeting. I don't think anybody in that meeting, probably including Buddy Hield, thought he was going to do that. And Steve Kerr raved about Buddy Hield's defense on Fred VanVleet. I was stunned because Buddy Hield was playing his ass off. He was going like Russell Westbrook speed the whole game, like he was on speed. Man, I've never seen him play that hard on both ends of the floor. Just possessed hard. Previous 3 games, Fred VanVleet had just shot holes through the hearts of the Warriors. And all of a sudden, Buddy Hield, out of the University of Oklahoma in the Bahamas, was all over him. He had to scratch and claw to score 16, and he only got to the free throw line for 2. Made 2 of 2 free throws. He's like a 10 of 10 guy. Buddy Hield, who saw that coming? So maybe he was inspired by what Draymond said, that Draymond was going to control himself and his emotions, just play basketball. And they did play basketball. They just play smarter basketball than the Rockets do. Rockets missed too many free throws. They missed too many bunnies. Jalen Green, I'm such a big fan. I said before his draft, I would take him over Cade Cunningham because he's just so explosively athletic. And I don't know. He's just not yet made of the right stuff and may never be. He just wasn't ready for prime time. He was so timid. He was like LeBron in fourth quarters. Just so apprehensive. So let me hide over here in the corner and stay out of everybody's way. Took 2 3-point shots and missed them both. He's so much better than that. I mean, he can go for 40 any given night, and they needed 33 from him to offset 33 from Buddy Hield, and they did not get it. Maybe the Rockets developed a little scar tissue that will benefit them greatly as they go into next year and the next year and the next year. They're going to be around for a while. They have a really, really good coach. That's a guy I'd love to play for. But really, Warriors, all about the team meeting? No, this is all about Buddy Hield? Okay. Now, one more quick thought about Luka. I did post a video about this, but just quickly, let's go back through. Here are the reasons Nico Harrison traded Luka Dončić. Number one, Luka doesn't care enough about his weight or his physical conditioning. And behind closed doors came all the stories out of Dallas. He's just very difficult to deal with and didn't want to listen to anything that management was trying to tell him, especially about his weight and his physical conditioning. So how did the Lakers season end? The day after they got gentlemen swept by the T-Wolves, J.J. Redick actually had to say publicly that we have certain players who need to get in championship shape. That indicated to me that he has talked often with Luka behind closed doors about his weight, about his conditioning, unsuccessfully, and had to resort to going public in calling out Luka to try to relight a off-season fire to get him to come back in championship shape, which he has never been in. Nico didn't like the long-term bet on Luka, even though he's much younger, obviously, than Anthony Davis. But is he a better basketball player, all-around two-way basketball player than Anthony Davis? once again, the T-Wolves made it very painfully clear that Luka's a defensive liability. AD, you could argue, is as great a rim protector, shot changer, shot blockers we have in the NBA. Maybe this side of Wemby. Luka, in the 5 games against the T-Wolves, through those 5 games, of all the players in the playoffs and defensive win shares individual, Luka ranked 205th out of 209 players. Nico decided that Luka just takes way too many threes, 10 a game, for a 35% career three-point shooter. Bit the Mavericks in the butt after he had a hot shooting series against Minnesota last year in the conference finals. He got to the NBA finals against Boston. They were out in 5. Luka in that final shot 11 of 45 from 3. That's 24.4%. He reverted to his mean, and it's mean. Against Minnesota, in the 5 games, Luka shot 34.8%, slightly under his career average, which is pretty awful. And in the last 3 fourth quarters, Luka was 3 of 11 from the floor and 0 for 5 from 3. Check. Another reason that Nico said no. Luka easily led the Lakers in the 5 playoff games in usage rate at 32%. That's high. And as Nico knew, it can sometimes be to the detriment of teammates such as an Austin Reeves. I thought he became a star this year, Austin Reeves. He went 25-6 during the regular season, and then against Minnesota, he was only 15-5-3, so his numbers fell. He was a 38% three-point shooter during the regular season, fell to only 32% against the T-Wolves because you could just see Austin Reeves say, is it my turn? Is it okay should I go ahead and shoot this or not? It's just hard to play with Luka when you're also playing with LeBron at 27% usage rate. And the odd man out, the one who struggled the most, was Austin Reeves, given what he had done in the regular season. Okay, check. And then finally, Nico and company just got tired of watching Luka Dončić complain over every single call or non-call. He does it with that smile. Everybody loves his smile. Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? After a while, he turns the refs against you because they get worn out with this smiling, complaining like, you missed that? Did you see? He gets fouled every play. And when it isn't called, he gets away with near murder, going after ref after ref after ref. And finally, after a while, it just adds up and it does not help your team's longer-term chances. Check. I don't know. All I can say to sum this up is the Los Angeles Lakers were very lucky that Kyrie tore up his ACL and wasn't able to play down the stretch or into the playoffs. Because if Kyrie had remained healthy with Anthony Davis after Anthony got healthy, these Mavericks would still be playing right here, right now, and they would be a threat to win the West. Quick point for you about Omaha Steaks. Ernestine and I have often sent Omaha Steaks for gifts to many, many friends of ours all over the country. Now get ready to smash expectations with new Omaha Steaks Smash Burgers. Visit omahasteaks.com/smash and order the Built for the Grill pack with 16 free smash burgers. That sounds like a deal to me. That's 16 free Omaha Steaks smash burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. smash. See site for details. Okay, speaking of Ernestine, my wife and I have argued quite a bit over Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend. Now, neither of us has a problem with Belichick dating a 24-year-old, but Ernestine has a big problem with Belichick letting this Jordan Hudson run him and pretty much run his football program at North Carolina. Ernestine thinks Belichick's in danger of getting fired. Maybe so. But here's my point about Belichick and why I think he's gone desperately over the edge with Jordan Hudson. He's just been so overrated, and he knows it. Always has been overrated. Bill Belichick was a product of Tom Brady's goatness and Brady's all-time great locker room leadership during those Patriots dynasty years. Those Patriot teams would have mutinied against Belichick's verbally abusive, old-school dictatorial coaching if Tom Brady hadn't kept reassuring the locker room that they would win in spite of Belichick and his tirades, practice field tirades, film room tirades. Before Tom Brady fell out of heaven into Belichick's lap, think about this. Belichick as a head coach was 35-47. That counted Cleveland and New England. He had gone 5-11 in his first season in New England after getting fired in Cleveland. And the Patriots had fallen to 0-2 when Brady got his first fateful start in place of Drew Bledsoe. Then Tom Brady won Bill Belichick 6 Super Bowl rings. And by the way, Belichick's vaunted defense cost Brady 2 more Super Bowl rings. Remember, Brady's touchdown pass with 2 minutes left against the Giants in the first Giants Super Bowl gave the Patriots a 14-10 lead. But Belichick's vaunted defense couldn't keep Eli Manning from going 75 yards for the winning touchdown, not a field goal. They needed to score more than a field goal. They needed 7, and they got it. 75 yards against Belichick's defense. Then against Nick Foles, the Eagles' backup quarterback, Belichick's defense in a Super Bowl game gave up 41 points as Brady threw for an all-time playoff record 505 yards. And scored 33 points and lost. So after the scoundrel Belichick managed to maneuver Brady out the back door in New England, and Brady went to Tampa Bay and won another Super Bowl with the 7-9 team during a pandemic year, Belichick in 4 more years without Tom Brady in New England got exposed. Without Tom Brady in New England, Belichick over 4 years went 29-38. Yikes. Belichick's Patriots managed to play only 1 playoff game in those 4 long years. Only 1. And they lost 47-17 in that playoff game at Buffalo, as Belichick's vaunted defense never once forced the Bills to punt in the entire game. Think about that. Bill Belichick, way overrated, and the NFL knows it. Robert Kraft fired Bill Belichick. Then 7 teams had a chance to hire Bill, and none hired him. Then there was another hiring cycle this past year. 6 more teams could have let Belichick know they wanted him. Nope, not a one. But North Carolina was blinded by those Super Bowl rings. They paid $10 million a year for 5 years just for Belichick's genius, his genius reputation, his Super Bowl legacy, his NFL pipeline appeal for 18-year-old recruits, even though Belichick has obviously never coached college football. Now back to the 24-year-old girlfriend. I kept telling Ernestine it was smart for Belichick to flaunt his relationship with her because he needs all the social media publicity and impact and clout and cachet that he can get at age 73. He needed to send the message to 18-year-olds who live on their phones that even at 73, he's still got it, baby. Still has the game on and off the field to attract, keep a hot young girlfriend. They've been together, I guess, since 2021. I kept telling Ernestine that Belichick is being very shrewd to post all these weird beach pictures with her, these yoga poses. I don't know what they are. But he was smart to take her to the NFL Honor Show dressed very provocatively. Message sent. Bill Belichick is happening in Carolina. Chapel Hill is the place to be, recruits. But I'm telling you, Belichick is desperate. Desperate to prove he can still win football games, college football games at age 73. Desperate to prove he can win without Tom Brady or even a Tom Brady. Desperate to prove all those NFL teams that didn't hire him wrong. Desperate to recruit 18-year-old stars, something he has never had to do or tried to do. So why not make a 24-year-old social media force his personal social media director? I thought that was a shrewd move. But now it looks like Belichick created a monster. Gave Jordan Hudson too much power that she started to flaunt. New York Post reported that she forced her way into that Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial that Belichick did with, of course, Ben and Casey Affleck. And now HBO reportedly has nixed its Hard Knocks deal with Carolina because Jordan Hudson demanded too much control of the project. What? That cost Belichick a reported $200,000 in NIL money. Now you read that Jordan Hudson is helping to run football practice and that she's now to be included in every interoffice email to and from Bill Belichick. And of course, she shut down that question about how she and Belichick met during that CBS Sunday Morning interview. Whew, did that ever explode? Go viral. So Belichick already looked bad enough in that interview, weirdly wearing some kind of tattered holy navy. I mean, holy is not in holy, Holey, but he's wearing this old navy t-shirt instead of something Carolina blue. I don't know what that message was supposed to be. But as Ernestine said to me, he looks bad, and this is just so sad. She's got a point. And the media is finally, after all these years, turning on Bill Belichick. Belichick, who now has had to leak a story that he's seeking to hire a proven PR executive for the program. That's probably because the rich boosters who fund the Carolina football program, the guys who ultimately pay Belichick's $10 million a year salary, are demanding to know what the hell is going on, Bill. I believe Belichick knows he got exposed without Brady. I believe he got dangerously desperate in expanding the power of a 24-year-old girlfriend that he calls his muse. Mostly at this point, the sports world is just amused by Jordan Hudson appearing to take Belichick's Carolina program straight to hell before Belichick's team has even had a chance to play one game. Now the sports world is laughing at Bill Belichick just the way I always laughed at the media-fueled premise that Belichick was more valuable than Brady. Stop it. Now the curtain has been pulled back on the wizard who wasn't ever really a wizard. I mean, why do you think Belichick got caught cheating back in 2007. Remember Spygate? The great Don Shula, the great Dolphins coach, called at that point Belichick Belichick. Whew. Look, Bill Belichick was just a pretty good defensive coordinator who happened to be at the right places at the rightest times with those great Giants teams under Parcells, then in New England when Brady fell out of the sky. In some ways, Belichick's just a guy who wakes up every morning thinking, I got a hot 24-year-old girlfriend because everybody thinks I'm the greatest coach ever. I wonder how much longer this relationship will last. I guess that depends on how much longer Belichick lasts at Carolina. Quick sip of dew. Speaking of Belichick, I haven't said much about Gregg Popovich, who has always reminded me of Bill Belichick. I am happy Pop's health seems to be improving, and I'm very happy that he'll transition out of full-time coaching into taking over as president of basketball operations, which will allow him at age 76 to run the organization without the grueling travel demands of 41 road games a season. Good for Pop. But as I've made clear many times over the years, as big a Spurs fan as I was during the Duncan Parker Ginobili glory days, I was just never a Pop guy. To me, Pop was almost as much a product of Tim Duncan as Belichick was of Brady. And never forget this, GM R.C. Buford, who was the best in the business for many years, R.C. all-time stole 3 other players in the draft who helped make Pop. Tony Parker, 28th overall. Manu Ginobili, 57th overall, second to last pick, second round. And Kawhi Leonard, 15th overall. It's just ridiculous what R.C. pulled off. Okay, here's the point. Since Tim Duncan retired 2016, the Spurs have had the 3rd West record in the West, just ahead of the Kings and the Pelicans. And since Manu and Tony retired in 2018, the San Antonio Spurs have had the worst record in the entire Western Conference. The Spurs haven't won a playoff series since 2017. And now they've missed the playoffs 6 straight seasons. So from 1999 to 2018, I was as big a Spurs fan as anyone in San Antonio was. I actually started falling in love with the Spurs during the Iceman Gervin years. That was before Dallas even had an NBA team. But from the start, I tried and I failed to love Popovich, in largest part because I was a member of the media. And I was ashamed of my media brothers and sisters for letting him get away with constantly bullying media members who ask legitimate questions in press conferences. As the Spurs began to win, the media actually began to portray Popovich as a lovable grump. What? I thought the winning was just going to his head. He was a monster created. Lovable? No, he wasn't. He was exactly the kind of bully he always blasted Trump for being. At least Bill Belichick avoided answering legitimate questions by giving these terse little non-answers. Of Gregg Popovich avoided those questions by shaming and insulting and belittling the questioner. His was a bully pulpit. That was lovable? Not to me. And then there were Coach Pop's between quarters interviews on live national TV that were celebrated because that's just the way good old Pop is. And fans just believed what they were told. Instead, the truth about most of those between quarters national TV interviews was that Gregg Popovich condescendingly humiliated men and women who were just trying to do their job and ask reasonable, fairly tame questions that could have been honestly answered without giving away any team secrets. A lot of fans find those in-game coaches' interviews enlightening and entertaining. It's very possible those interviews help grow the TV audience. Isn't that the ultimate name of the game? I don't know. I guess you can argue that fans got to the point they were on the edge of their seats waiting to see and hear how Pop was going to chew up and spit out the poor interviewer who drew the short straw and got the assignment this time. But man, I could only cringe and hang my head when Pop went bully on national TV. I found his behavior disgusting, not worthy of an NBA head coach. And I often said so publicly, as much as I did love Pop Spurs. I often believed that Tim Duncan, like Tom Brady, kept those Spur locker rooms together in spite of Pop's verbal abuse. I always thought Pop was a good coach who got away with ruling those teams with an old school militaristic iron fist, because Duncan and in turn Parker and in turn Ginobili bought into him and defended him in mutinous locker rooms. Would Popovich have gotten away with this behavior if he hadn't had Tim Duncan, one of the great leaders in the history of sports? No. Would Coach Pop have become an all-time great coach without Timmy? Nope. Did he start getting exposed once Duncan and then Parker and Ginobili were gone? Yes, he did. My friend Steven Jackson was the first talented Spur to stand up to Popovich, who quickly ran him off. You could hear the story my last week's Skip 101 with Steven. Then when Kawhi called bullshit on Pop, it appeared once again Popovich was saying, no player is bigger than I am, even this player. And Kawhi just shut it down and waited to be traded. As a diehard Spurs fan, that tore me apart, and I initially did blame Kawhi, but I've come to blame Popovich more. Of course, all Kawhi did was go win another championship in Toronto. Way to go, Pop. Even now, I am stunned at what a beloved favorite Popovich remains among the media members he bullied for years and years. I just don't get it. Just look at the Spurs records the last 6 years. For that matter, just look at how they went 22-60 in 2023. Then they hit the lottery. They landed Wemby. Then with Wemby the next year, they again went 22-60. What? How could you again lose 60 games with Victor Wembanyama going for 21 points and 11 rebounds and 4 assists every night with 4 blocks? He just destroyed the league in the blocks race. Just destroyed it. coaching anyone? I guess now Gregg Popovich is beyond questioning, beyond reproach. I think he's lucky he wasn't working for Robert Kraft, but I assume some people consider him, I don't know, the greatest NBA coach ever. I'm sure some do. Whew. Man, do I ever miss Tim and Tony and Manu. Okay, this is for my guys, Spike Lee and Stephen A. Smith. As hard to love and as easy to hate as my Dallas Cowboys have been for the last 30 years, I'll admit it, I'd still much rather be a Dallas Cowboy fan than a New York Knicks fan. Hey, guys, the only thing your Knicks have over my Cowboys is that they're based in New York and they play in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. But guys, your Mecca has become the place where rival stars go to put on their greatest shows. The Knicks are often the Washington Generals to Globetrotters. They're just the set decoration every night in their own building. The NBA's biggest stars don't go to New York to play for the Knicks. They go to score 50 or 60 against your Knicks at the Garden. Mecca. Okay, so you got me on this. My Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl or even been to a conference championship game in going on 30 years. I own it. But at least we won a Super Bowl in early 1996. Your Knicks haven't won a championship since 1973. That's 52 years, if my math is correct. 52 years? That's impossibly bad. My team has won 5 Super Bowls. My team has played in 3 more Super Bowls. 8 total. Your team has won 2 NBA championships in 1970 and 1973. And your team has played in only 2 other NBA finals in 1994 and 1999, though it's hard, I got to tell you, to count that 1999 finals because that was a strike season, a lockout year in which your regular season record was 27-23. You somehow made it to an NBA Finals off 27-23. That, my friends, is embarrassing, flat out embarrassing. My Cowboys have also played in 16 conference championship games. Think about that, 16 times in the conference championship games. Your Knicks have played in only 7 conference finals. Only 7 for a team based in New York City? Man, that's pretty pathetic. Your greatest coach was Red Holtzman. Ours was Tom Landry, who actually did play for the New York Giants. Advantage us. We got God's coach, Tom Landry. You have a villainous owner. You've had him for a long time. Your owner never does interviews. I have the most famous owner in sports history who does nothing but interviews after every game, in the locker room, 2 radio shows a week. Jerry Jones is always saying something crazily interesting. You cannot help but love Jerry Jones because he's always so outrageously entertaining, and he's turned this team into the most valuable franchise in all of sports in all the world. How can any Knick fan do anything but hate James Dolan? Did James Dolan have a cameo in Landman opposite Billy Bob and John Hamm? Jerry did, and Jerry stole the show. Whew, big advantage us. How can anyone in Knicks Nation love your coach? What an old school grump, sourpuss. He's just so boring. No flair, no style, no cool. How did Tibbs become an NBA head coach in the first place? You couldn't find anyone better than this coach to coach the New York freaking Knicks? I mean, Pat Riley, he ain't. Sometimes I wonder if Tibbs is an actual troll who lives under the Brooklyn Bridge and collects tolls. And now your team is about to get slaughtered by the Boston Celtics. Celtics in 4. Celtics are favored in game 1 by 9. They'll win by 19. This is what happens when your best player is 4 feet 11 inches tall. Now, I like Jalen Brunson, but I'd like him a lot more if he were playing in some 5 feet and under league. So now you've traded your toughest player, Julius Randle, for a kitty cat? Will that pack of dogs up in Boston get after your kitty cat? Meouch. Meouch. Hey, in the 12 years I lived in New York City, it seemed like most football fans I met were Cowboy fans. There are millions of them in New York. It's often about our uniforms. We have the coolest uniforms in sports. Any team that has orange in its color scheme is disqualified. Your Knicks were on the right track with blue and with silver. Why'd you have to taint it with orange? Ugh. Now, the only thing your Knicks have going for your Knicks is that they play in New York. Yeah. It's only been, 25 years since you've been to a finals, as opposed to our 30 since we went to a Super Bowl. But now you've had 15 coaches in 25 years? Seriously? That's just embarrassing. Oh, well, you guys enjoy getting boat raced by Boston. Hey, at least the closeout game 4 will be in New York, New York. So nice they named it twice. At least your Knicks have one thing and only one thing going for them. They play in New York. I close with an anonymous quote I saw in The Athletic from an NFL talent evaluator about why the Giants didn't take Shadur Sanders. This evaluator said, and I quote, "Maybe the Giants came to the conclusion, like the rest of us, that Sanders is a second-round pick. I bristle at everyone saying they are smearing his name. Everyone has caught up to the evaluation that he is not a first-round prospect. The media guys are lagging behind the evaluations, so there has to be a reason." So I've been doing this for a long time, and usually NFL talent evaluators are split over players, especially quarterbacks. So how is it that this guy is saying they all came to the same conclusion? The whole league came to the same conclusion that Shadur is a second-round pick. I'll tell you why. Because so many of these evaluators talk to each other. And as I said before, they all agreed it was time to teach Shadur and his father a lesson. You can't act like that before an NFL draft. Deion can't say he's going to tell some teams at the top of the draft not to take his son because Deion doesn't want his son playing for that team and that team and that team. That's what happened. The entire league came to a conclusion, which equals collusion. So let me ask you, can Mel Kiper be dead wrong about Shadur? Mel had him ranked 5th on his board, 5th overall. Mel's track record says no way can he be dead wrong. Can I be dead wrong about Shadur? My track record, my overall track record dating back for years and years says no. This league sure was wrong about Brady, about Montana, about Marino, and about Lamar Jackson. Somebody is going to be very, very wrong about Shadur. It's either going to be the media or all those talent evaluators who colluded. That's it for today's episode. Thanks to Tyler Korn for producing, to Ernestine for overseeing, and of course to Hazel for approving.